Welcome back to
Life to the Max.
This is Love Month.
Yes.
Welcome back to our channel where we talk relationships, travel, and more.
Yep.
So today we're talking love languages.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into it,
have you even heard of the 5 love languages?
Have you? Have you? And even before that, let's just talk about languages a little bit. When you think about the word language, it's pretty much talking about communication, a form of how human beings communicate,
That's
right?
good.
So when we're talking about love language, you're talking about like how to communicate love. So the things we're talking about today is 5 ways of communicating love.
Yeah.
Communication involves sending a message, receiving a message.
Yeah.
So it means when you're communicating love, you are saying how you want love to be communicated, and you're saying how you want love to be received. And this is how we speak. Get it? Speak our language.
Our love language.
Love language.
Yeah. So the 5 love languages are by Gary Chapman. There's a great website. We'll put the link in the description box where you can find out what your 5 love languages are.
Right. And
also there's other resources as well. He's got a book out there that you can read more and learn more about it.
Yep.
But what are the 5 love languages, right? So they are acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation. Yeah. So I'll just dive into the first 2 and then Joseph will talk about the others. So the first one is acts of service. And an example of this is, your spouse or your partner doing something for you and you really just appreciate that. And that's how you want them to express love to you. So for example, Joseph takes out the trash. I don't know, he'll empty out the car when we go grocery shopping. So appreciating things like that you don't have to ask them to do it, but they do it, right? And you can ask, even if they don't do it, and that's the way you want to be loved and how you want love to be communicated to you. Let them know, like, babe, can you really just do this for me? I'd really appreciate it, and I just love you for doing that, right? So that's acts of service. Someone literally serving you in one way or the other. So the second one is receiving gifts. You like to receive gifts. So someone could give you a gift for your birthday, or a gift for your anniversary, or just a gift because they wanted to get you something. You just really appreciate receiving gifts. So that one is pretty straightforward.
Right. I think the thing with gifts is that people are able to put your thoughts into it. You can see how people express how thoughtful they are in getting something for you, and so you really appreciate that, right?
Yeah. So it's not just something random. It's actually a thoughtful something that has meaning to you.
That's true. That's true. So number 3, quality time. Now, I believe life is time, because when you think about it, break down life into the bits, into the smaller parts. It's really time. It's about the hours, the minutes, the seconds. And so for people who enjoy quality time, who communicate, who receive love as quality time, they, for example, want you to be around them when they don't want to be in different places. For example, if you live if you're in the same house with your spouse, Damala, for example, wants me to be by her when she's making her hair, even if it's just not doing anything but just talking to her. She appreciates just me being around her. She appreciates me, spending time to create life to the max. It's quality time. We get to bond. She enjoys, taking a walk, doing exercises, things that help us to bond, together. And so if that's your love language, it's important to always make sure that you're focused and you're in the moment. You're not
distracted.
Just there. You're not distracted. You're not somewhere else. Exactly. Things
Quality
like that.
time.
When you're on a date, you're actually there, not on the call with someone. Things like that.
Yeah.
Next one is physical touch.
My favorite.
All right. So Damala has always enjoyed physical touch. That is her probably, I think, number 2 or number 1.
That's my number. They go hand in hand. Quality touch and quality time and physical touch.
So physical touch is not necessarily sex. I mean, it's great. You get to do all the touching and stuff. But physical touch could be just holding hands. For the longest time, PDA for me, public display of affection, was not a thing. But here, she enjoyed that. And so I was like, you know what, I can grow into that. I can speak that. I can learn to speak that language. It's a language, right? It might not come naturally to you, right? And you have to learn it. And so learning how to express Damala's love language in terms of physical touch was important. So holding the hands with her, This one's weird, but she seems to enjoy it. Like, what's it called?
Massaging
Massaging the skull. Bruh, I never thought that was a thing. But yeah, she goes,
so good, guys. So good.
Anyways, physical touch. And the last one is words of affirmation. Now, I am a huge communicator of this one. I enjoy receiving words of affirmation.
Joseph is handsome. Joseph is smart. Joseph is caring.
Don't get me started. Oh
Joseph is just lovely.
Oh, come on now. That's it right there. Like, I enjoy people affirming me. Like, and when you talk about words of affirmation, it's not necessarily affirming the negative, right? You don't want to affirm the negative in people's life. You want to affirm the positive. You know, you want to bring out the good, right? You want to make sure that whatever it is they're doing that's adding value to you, you affirm that, right?
If I can add to that real quick. So even with the negatives, just really thinking about your approach to how you want to give them like negative feedback.
That's true.
Or constructive criticism. Like,
That's
you know,
true.
Hey babe.
Yeah.
When, you know, the mood is in a better place or whatever, coming back to that conversation.
brings something to my mind, for sure. Reminds me of back in the days when we just started out. Damla will come to it, like, you know, say something like, oh babe, this is what happened, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what did you do? You know, not even acknowledging the feelings and saying, oh, I'm sorry babe. Yeah, words are important. Like, the way you approach things with words, where you communicate love with words, it is very, it can
make or break a person.
It can make or break,
especially your spouse. So you have to be just really thoughtful. In words of affirmation.
Be careful to choose your words. Slow to speak. Be slow to speak. Think about the words you're about to say, and then make sure that you're not leaving the person broken or leaving them worse than when they came to meet you. Make sure it's leaving them better, right? And so your words should affirm. Your words should make people stronger, make people better, make people look good. I mean, everybody wants to feel nice.
Feel love.
Wants to feel love.
Yes.
So your words can it's a very powerful tool to do that. Very powerful tool to communicate that. And so that's words of affirmation.
And now that you all know the 5 love languages, we do want to share that it's important to communicate that to your spouse or your partner. Let them know that here are my love languages. Here's how I want to be loved.
Right.
Like we said, it's a communication thing.
Right. Communication is 2 ways. You send a message, you receive a message. Right.
Yeah. And your spouse can't read your mind at the end of the day. No one can read your mind. Only God. But you know, you have to just say it. No one can read your mind. You can't assume that they know. You just have to know yourself and express yourself to your spouse.
You mentioned something so important.
What?
Know yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't know how you want love to be communicated to you, you would accept anything, and you would not be, you
have the wrong idea of love.
You won't know how you want to be loved, and which is why when Damla mentioned in the beginning, what love means to her, it's knowing herself and loving herself. Because once you're able to love yourself, you can love others. Right? You know how you want to be loved. You know how you want love to be expressed to you. Knowing yourself is really important. Knowing yourself helps you to know how you want love to be communicated to you. Right? And so I just think that's important.
So with that being said, we did talk with another couple about their love languages and what they've learned in terms of expressing and communicating each other's love languages in the past 4 months of marriage.
With that being said, let's welcome the Acquahs.
Tolu
and Raymond.
So they'll be talking about their love languages and how they've learned to express love to each other.
So today we're continuing with our Millennial marriage series. And specifically we're talking about love languages, communicating love.
Do you know your love language?
And so today we have a special couple with us. The Acquahs.
Whoop whoop. Welcome, y'all.
Welcome, guys.
How are you two doing?
We're doing well.
We're good.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. We're excited.
Yep.
Of course.
Thank you for joining.
Yes. So you guys, you definitely exhibit love in all ways, shape, and form. That 1 Corinthians 13 love. And in our Millennial marriage series, that's what we try to display so everyone can see that young people are getting married. They are thriving in their marriages as well.
So,
go ahead.
We are just going to talk about like how I met them, because we've actually both met them, but I met them first. And so I met Tolu and Raymond at church, right? And Tolu, we were in the choir together, you know. Tolu is in a alto, soprano, she's always switching around, but I'm in my tenor, you know, holding down. But yeah, we met in church, and guys, Raymond, our sound, oh my God. Raymond gives us that sound. Oh, that's how I met Raymond. Raymond is always our sound guy, you know, making sure everything looks good, everything sounds good. But it was nice meeting them. It's nice knowing them and seeing that our relationship still continues up until now.
Yes. Yep.
So with that being said, how long have you guys been married?
So we were married for 4 months.
Yeah, about 4 months.
September 5th, we got married.
Yeah.
October, November, December. Yeah, 4 months.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
What?
Wow.
How long did you guys date before getting married?
Before getting married. So,
It's like 2.5 years.
yeah.
Yeah. We started
2.5
dating in
years.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's about 2.5 years before we now got married.
Yeah.
So how has it been? Like, I know you guys got married in the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
How's that been so far?
Honestly, I feel like it was a good thing that we got married during the pandemic, just because then we're able to spend so much time together. We're literally together 24/7. So it really helps us to just to understand each other, our habits, and I think it helps adjustments just easier, because like straight from honeymoon and like we're just seeing each other all the time. So I think it's honestly I liked it this way, to be honest.
Yeah. Just to add to what she said, it's been good. You get to pretty much see her when you wake up. While you're working, she's right beside you.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed, she's right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get to learn about the other person as quickly as possible. So it's been good.
Yeah, but it's honestly not all butterflies, you know, because you're seeing each other 24/7, right? So you get to see every single part of them, you know, the good, the great, the not so
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that actually leads us to the next question, because based on what you said, right? Understanding each other even within this time that you guys are in the same space almost 24/7, right? So what are your love languages?
Yeah, so my love language is words of affirmation. I actually have 3, okay? So words of affirmation, quality time, and acts of service. And then his love language is physical touch and quality time. And honestly, like the score for physical touch is like the last. Okay, I think mine is like so it has been a struggle. And it's never just like when we got married, even before we got married, while we were dating, like, you know, the whole, you can't have sex, that, like, you know, you're trying not to press on boundaries. So it's like, I tried not to be so touchy, but then that's his love language, right? That's how he feels love. So it was a struggle. But I think we're lucky because we have one common love language, is quality time.
Oh, that is so good. Yeah. So Raymond and I are on the same page in terms of our love languages, physical touch and quality time as well. And then Joseph is words of affirmation.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So I tend to understand exactly what you just said. And with that, like, how have you learned? You said that, you know, you have to adjust, you know, some things, try to, you know, maintain your, you know, Christian relationship prior to marriage. How have you learned to speak each other's love language?
I think, do you want to go first?
Sure. So like her main love language is pretty much words of affirmation. So what I've
Oh God.
okay. So throwback, right? I used to be pretty direct with my words. So I usually don't sugarcoat things. I'll say it as it is. Unfortunately, my wife here, you can't do that with her.
Nope.
So you have to, like, I've had to learn to speak my words with wisdom. And then also be more encouraging with my words, pretty much. I think that's been my biggest adjustment, because sometimes words just fly out of my mouth without it going to my brain. But I've had to slow down.
Raymond, I totally understand, honestly, because there was a time, I'll give you an example. There was a time that I was like, oh, this and this happened, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what did you do? I'm like, cut out the feelings part. Like, I'm not hearing that. And so you're like, shut up, say, you're saying, no, do this, do that. Whereas they just want you to understand how they feel at the time. And so that was me too. I'm like, oh, I had to learn. I definitely had to learn.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know if it's just a lot of women that do this, but it's just sometimes we don't want a solution. Just listen to me, understand how I'm feeling. Yeah. And Raymond, oh my God, and Raymond is so logical that it's like, okay, when I'm explaining the situation to him, he's like, okay, so this is how you solve it. What are you doing about this? And I'm like, that's not what it's about. Listen to my feelings. Let me vent. Okay?
Yeah. We're
Are you
learning.
on that? So did it take a lot of effort on both ends to like mentally like, you know, tell yourself, okay, this is how Tolu wants to be loved, or like this is how Raymond wants to be loved? Like, what can I do today like to do that? Did it take a lot of effort or did it come naturally?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's how learning another language, or like learning to speak another love language is, right. It's not natural to you. It doesn't feel nice to you. So it takes a lot of mental efforts to and intentionality to pretty much to learn to speak that love language.
Yeah.
So yeah, it hasn't been easy.
It hasn't, especially like just because for me, I don't touch me. I don't like being touched. Yeah. So like I only like being touched when I want to be touched. So it was such an adjustment to then like, you know, be intentional about holding his hand, or, you know, giving him a kiss, or initiating things with him. Like now that we're married, it was such an adjustment. And it actually, like you said, it takes intentionality because it doesn't come natural. Yeah. Like it's something you have to like mentally be aware that, okay, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's worth it. It is.
Wow. Yes. And friends and fam, that's why it's so important to know your spouse's love language, know your partner's love language, and intentionally try, like they just said, intentionally try to put it into practice. Because you could be buying someone, you know, $10,000 worth of gifts while they just want a hug from you, while they just want to sit down and spend quality time with you and have a conversation about how your day went.
Right.
Go ahead.
I think it just reminds me of times as well back then. For me, like you guys probably saw one of those videos if you follow us on IG, where like I used to hate like PDA. Like I would never display affection in public. I would not do it. But that was not like that. Like that was something she wanted to like hold hands, touch in public, like sometimes kiss in public. I'm like, girl, calm down, right? And so things like that, it's not natural. Like Raymond said, it's a new language. Like learning any other language, English, Russian, something. It's not natural to use. So you have to like actually take time, slowly, gradually, to understand that person's love language as well. So those are great points, definitely. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and our talk with Tolu and Raymond, the Acquahs. And we hope as well that you know what the 5 love languages are, how to communicate love, how to send love, how to receive love, and how to love fully.
Yeah. With that being said, we'll leave the link for the 5 love languages quiz in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed this video. You know, who do you think that you can learn how to love better in this month?
Yes.
In the love month.
Right. And who can you also show how to love better? Remember, don't assume.
Don't assume, ask.
Don't assume, ask. Right?
Yeah.
And so, with that, we hope that you'll continue to live your life
to the max.